Welcome in, everyone, to Fierce XP and a brand new series that we're going to start here in Tower Dominion. I'm really excited about the concept that we've got here. I'm going to explain a little bit about my history with this game and how we got to the point that we're at. I'm going to show you within the game because we're doing a brand new fresh start, and what our goals are throughout this series should be pretty interesting. I find that there's not very much content being made, and I don't blame content creators. They've got established channels and they're trying to grow, and this game has such a small player base, it's not going to help them achieve their goals. But for me, I'm not worried about that. I just want to have some fun playing this game, and if anyone wants to join me, that's awesome. So I thought, well, I could do something about that. I should just start recording myself, but what can we do to make it interesting? I didn't want to just play random runs of whatever I felt like and try to make something interesting happen. That didn't appeal to me. I'd rather have sort of clear goals. So what I had started to do was, okay, we're going to beat every single general on difficulty 4. Now, I have a lot of history with Frontier mode, and I have beaten a lot of them, or some of them anyway, on level 19, the max difficulty. But I thought, okay, the win rate's so low there, this is doable. Let's beat every single commander and see what kind of win rate we can achieve. So we started to do that. I had started a little series and made a few videos, but we were getting 100% win rate and not even being challenged, where, in the final wave 35, we're not taking a single hit point of damage and we're never really under threat. So it was a little weird. I'm going to show you a couple quick screenshots, and the music's going to stop for a second. I apologize, but this is the first one of my old profile. I took a couple screenshots of couple items. So we had everyone unlocked, everyone beat, at least on level 4, and we had started to do Frontier with a number of them. So it felt weird when we started to do the challenge where I'm clicking on a commander who I've beaten at, say level 10 Frontier, and we're going backward to level 4 and seeing if we can beat it. Well, that didn't sit right with me. So I thought, okay, well, I wonder if there's a way to, reset all this so we could start fresh. So that was one part of it. But then the next challenge that I realized is the codex. Let's see here. Sorry, guys. You're gonna see how the sausage is made, but I want to show you this. I had 97% completion of the codex. So all the tier 2 doctrines, tier 3, most of the stuff in the game unlocked, and I realized that's giving me such a huge advantage. Like some of the economy generating stuff and all of the expertise on all of the guns. There's some really obscure things like an orbital cannon for the HQ that's really powerful, and I had everything at my fingertips. And so I realized that's partly what's making this easier, for me to be able to strategize and achieve a high win rate. So I thought, okay, well, is there a way to reset that? And turns out there is. It's difficult. You have to go into the Windows registry, and there's a couple locations you're gonna delete the cache, besides just deleting all your save data. So, if any of you are interested, just comment and I can maybe help a little bit with that. But we did manage to do it. Here's our codex here, and it's at 1%. Like it's literally just the HQs for each one that are unlocked. We don't have anything. So I thought this is a fun angle if we do literally a brand new fresh start as if we were a brand new player, and no tools at our disposal, and I have no idea what this is going to be like. Like, I've been playing hundreds of hours with everything unlocked, so I don't even know what we're going to be missing out on. But I think that's going to be part of the fun of this, is we're going to unlock it all together and start to get these tools at our disposal to make us more powerful. Now, it's going to take a while, that's for sure, to get even all the generals unlocked. They all have very, very different conditions to get them, like, different buildings, amount of supply produced, certain quantity of various things need to be built, and there's at least 3 of them that require you to lose. So it'll be interesting whether that happens organically, or if we get to the point where we have to like force some extra losses. Who knows? But we're gonna start working through it, and no matter what level we're playing on, because we even have to unlock the difficulties here and stuff, but again, our goal is every single commander with a blue badge beside it that we defeated them on difficulty 4, war. And the secondary part of it, as we achieve that, is to see what kind of win rate we can have. I have no idea what to expect. I'm thinking 80% would be really good. I mean, 90% would be excellent, but I don't know. Could be a lot worse than that. I seriously don't know what to think, but something else I've observed is on the Steam page, a lot of the negative reviews complain about the RNG, basically saying the game's not fair. Like, you know, all I need is a corner tile and I keep rolling and it never gives it to me, so I lost. Or, you know, I really needed a Durandal for this enemy and that's the only thing I need to win, and all I kept getting was Miradors, and so I lost. So the game's not fair. And that, you know, that kind of mindset, and I couldn't disagree more. I think the randomness is part of what makes the game fun, because you never know what to expect and you got to work with what you got. And I think there is a skill curve to this where you can win at a high rate, like not a perfect rate, but the chances, like the fact that there's a risk of losing is partly what makes winning fun, right? So I think it's a feature, not a bug. And just personally for me, I thought it'd be cool to try to prove that wrong in this series. Since I've played a lot of it, I understand the game well, I could prove that, no, the RNG isn't what's hurting you, it's a skill issue, frankly. So we're gonna see. And I could be wrong about all that, I have no idea. So we're gonna jump in here pretty soon and just start working through them. And every single run that we do, we're gonna track in order to figure out what that win rate is. And I made a little kind of brief list here. I'm going to evolve this where it's going to show each commander, number of attempts that we've done with them, and the number of victories with each one of them. And then we'll kind of calculate our overall win rate as we go. And there's, I think out of necessity, we're going to end up having to play various commanders multiple times in order to reach the conditions to unlock different stuff, which is fine. And they'll also be kind of on different difficulties, at least as we get started here, but we're still going to track everything and just see overall win rate. And I'm going to post all of them. Like, even if they're losing runs, you're going to see them. And even on those losing ones, we're probably going to unlock some things. So it still makes those interesting, I think. So let's get started. Now, on this very first, difficulty, we only have one outlet, which is fine. We start with an elbow piece. We've only got one reroll, so we're not going to spend that yet. We're just going to curve this out so we can kind of get into, a single run out to the right here. I guess there's tutorial. I'm not probably going to read any of that. We're just going to, get this rolling. So normally I would do the guns on the HQ. I mean, we still might end up doing that, but it's interesting with just the one entry point. That might not be the best use of our resources. I may just get this. Obviously has good coverage. Maybe I should read this stuff. It's kind of interesting. You don't even have unlocks. This is crazy. So finish an expedition with this building to unlock more upgrades. How is this going to go? So we're going to get tier 1 and tier 2 with the final wave. I guess we'll do detection. It'll be our only protection against a camouflage unit potentially coming in tier 1. And I can't believe I can't upgrade this anymore. We have to unlock the doctrines for it. That's fine. We can also put a sturdy bunker here. I mean, that's going to give us a lot of protection. Since we're opting not to do the HQ, normally you would lean to the HQ. I mean, for the Iron Dragoons, that's what this team is, one of their big features is the HQ being hulky, like it's a sturdy, high HP, has a lot of guns, but later, when you get into the higher difficulties, you know, you got tracks everywhere in a big circle around here, and so it can fire in every direction. It's what makes it partly so valuable, but this is a little unique since it's only a single entry. You know, the guns on the backside here are doing nothing because it doesn't have a big range. Like when I highlight this, like these two guns in the back are probably doing zip, so we're opting not to do that right now. I think this is sound strategy. Our first selection here. So it's going to be interesting for me as we, you know, get these reinforcement options that so many of the options are not available. So I think the only thing we'll ever see right now is tier 1 options until we unlock certain things. But that's fine, of course. We're going to work with that. Let's take this apply. Yeah, frontline trenches are kind of cool. You need recon to make them work, and, for the most part. We're gonna, we can probably give this the upgrade. We don't have any other sturdy bunkers, so this particular one does not benefit at all. It can go off hard if you have multiple sturdy bunkers kind of in a cluster, but we've got none here, so it'll be a reinforced pivot, giving it better rate of fire and reload. Interesting, so even on the weapons, it doesn't give me any of the stats. It's so strange. I'm not used to that. It normally shows you your damage and rate of fire and all that stuff, but yeah, that's fine. We'll let this go. So we can't even get repair on our HQ because normally you would, with the Mirador, the third upgrade down here, close support, is one of the better ways early to give yourself some repair, but we can't even get there, even though we've got a Mirador available. That's interesting. But that's fine. We're going to find ways to work around this. Warwolf would be an excellent option early, you know, in the game, but this doctrine is exceptional. Gain 100 HP each time you place a building, plus we get a selection of blueprints. This is great to start off our first run. We don't have any recon, so the scout hideout's not a great option yet. Durandal, it's hard, really, you know, solid for the high HP enemies, but we're going to get a Puma position probably. It can serve both roles. It's primarily an anti-air, but it has such a high rate of fire. You can set it up to just hit ground units too. So we got a tile selection here. Let's, what's going on here? This little guy is locking me out. This is not the best. We'd rather have a T or an elbow. Rerolling's a little bit risky in case we get a blank. If we go straight, we basically almost have to go straight with the other one, or we could T and then get around to... I think we're gonna save our recon for when we're really stuck. And we're going to make sure this high spot here is, you know, relevant, that it's in the center of our path here, so we've got good options for buildings. But this is fine. We're not worried about that. So the goal is, if we can get a T or another straight even here, and then get an elbow or T, get them reconnected back up here, and just ultimately push this as far away from our HQ as possible. There are other strategies. I mean, you can do kind of a spiral and try to get it to wrap around as much as possible, but we're going to probably just get this to run out far. We did get a neutral building. It's a pretty cool one, gives it detection plus 1 range. So if we do run into that camouflage tier 1 foe, we at least have some type of answer. We can put a couple things beside there, but we'll see. We should probably think about getting our recon online. Just get this building, put it out of the way. We need 250, but then we can get some recon production. These little guys are getting kind of close, but we've got the infantry, and the main feature of Commissar Amnesia is she spawns on the battlefield, and you increase your grenadier production every wave. So by the time that we finish this run, this could be up, you know, it'll be up over 20. And honestly, in this early game, when we can't even upgrade our buildings fully, she's going to be a big part of us getting this done. That train of infantry chews through a lot of enemies. So we've got a little bit of supply. We've got very little in terms of blueprints. I'm a little bit tempted to get some blueprints. Normally I would want the supply, but it's not even like we can dump it into these to get some of the higher cost upgrades. Now, we could eventually still get... It's interesting that the HQ allows us to upgrade everything, like including up to the Durandal turrets. But I don't think this is the best use of our money. We'll see whether or not we do that. So all that being said, as much as supply, this would normally be the selection, I think we actually want the blueprints so that we can just put down more guns. We're gonna get the recon started. Again, if we run into a camo unit, we might have the option to at least put down like a scout hideout a little bit later. It could, you know, and plus rerolls and stuff, it gives us options. So we're basically out of supply. Let's see if we can keep going here. Infantry coming out, do a great job. I would like the guns in the front of the HQ. They would be both coming down on all these units that are close. But... Okay, there is a scout hideout. Do we have any positions for light mortars? This would typically be a good, but at height 0 for both of these, this can potentially be a really good spot firing down on there. I have to remember that we're only going to have the first level upgrade, and light mortars do not really go off until you get them fully upgraded. Now, a Durandal can go hard even with the first upgrade, that's for sure. I think we're going to do that. We're going to make sure we got a Durandal. So here is a perfect example of why we waited, right? We get a full blank piece. Like, this does not help us to build out our map and to, you know, lower our risk to get these entry points away from our HQ. So we saved and we've got one reroll. That is perfect. I don't know if the orientation is going to matter here. I suppose let's again orientate our elevated positions to the center where we expect to have most of our guns. You could argue this, like, to make the enemies travel, you know, closer to the center, but I think this makes more sense. This is a great spot for a bastion if we were to run into one. Economy is not really online yet. Like, it'd be great to get this up. That would be through neutral buildings if we can discover any. We could... did we give this the upgrade already? Yeah, I guess we did. So we could have gotten these online stacking against each other. I mean, this one still could. But there's other positions, like, that would do really well too. I don't think we're under threat yet. I mean, Wave 5 can be a little bit of a skill check, so these flying units are going to be, you know, maybe our biggest challenge right now. A lot of them kind of started to ding us, and the infantry can't hit the flying units, right? So answers to that are Sturdy Bunker, the Puma position, both do great for that. We're going to take the supply. This is, I mean, platforms are great, advanced Mirador, all good options, but this is so much supply that it's going to transform this. We're going to just get some guns down. And we have to remember too, we've got a really good doctrine here of plus 100 HP each time you place a building. We don't have any repair right now, so that's kind of our only fail-safe to make sure that we maintain some HP. Like, even this thing, I love getting down here to underground train because it gives you like plus 200% HP, I think. But we don't have that option. So this is a great location. This should just kill just about everything. So this is a heavy hitter. We don't need the range for the long barrel, plus we're not getting the extra buff for a neutral building. So we're going to do exposed elements, but maybe not yet. We want the extra damage, and we will eventually be able to take the hit to our HP. It's so crazy we can't see the stats of our gun. So, you know, when we do stuff like this, normally I would show you kind of the impact of how good it's making it, but we can't see that yet, which is fine. We've still got a bit of supply. This isn't expensive. It's almost, you know, it's a little over 500 supply to get down, but it's going to make a big difference of knocking stuff out here. So the flying units is a big part of what was getting through there. So let's find a way to address that. we could probably do that. And I'm thinking about whether or not a platform is worth it. It would certainly, you know, make this web bigger, but these are a little too valuable. It may be the difference of us getting a building onto, you know, the field or not. So we're going to hold off. We're going to put that down. We can't even get the second heavy Vencedor. That's what defines it as an anti-air versus a Reaper cannon. Now, the Puma, the first upgrade, is determining whether you're aiming at ground or anti-air. So, you know what? We can still cancel this. I wonder if we want consistent win rate, we got to make good decisions. These air units are making us vulnerable. So I think we let this run. We're going to probably take a little bit of hits, and then we're going to get a Puma onto the battlefield. The first upgrade is expensive. It's 240, but that would essentially take care of all of the anti-air. Now, another option is, for even cheaper than the Puma, I could get the Vencedors on the HQ, and that's, you know what, that's probably what we're gonna do. And you get two, well, you know, you get 4 guns. But let's see if we can pop this before this wave is over. Yeah, let's do that. And it's gonna immediately start taking out some of those units that we're getting close. Okay, I love to get the extra HP, but a Warwolf is a unit that can really buy us some time. So here it is. Here's a camouflage unit. That is kind of crazy. So we have a couple potential solutions for that. You know, we'll see how we do. A corner piece. So let's force them to, we're going to do that. It's a good piece. We don't even have enough for a reroll anyway. But we want to maybe incentivize them to come down mostly this channel, and we're going to have to make use of this detection building. Our Miradors are perhaps the only building that's going to have detection. It's the very first option there, because even a light mortar, I'm going to just show you, I'll put this down anywhere, you know, you get range or learning machines. This second option, shrapnel, does give detection, but we can't get that yet. So we don't have a lot of answers for these camo units. One of the biggest answers is going to be the infantry. So we're fortunate that we've got this particular general to start with. We're now up to 11 grenadiers. So they will destroy those camo units, assuming they go out the right paths. But we got the Vencedors on the HQ, so we're a little safer against the air units that are going to come straight at us. So I feel better about that. Not so desperate to get the Puma down just yet, but we are worried about the detection units. So we're going to want to pick up some more Miradors in the next reinforcement choices. And there's lots of good, you know, positions for them. We can kind of get them out anywhere up here. And those do not come until wave 10. So we've got some time. Let's run the next wave. See, the Durango, not only is it a heavy hitter, but it's got some good splash damage. And so even for these little guys, it's, you know, got an aerial effect. It's pretty good. I wish we could, you know, I like this doctrine a lot, making your HQ range higher, but because of the detection, like the camouflage units, we are going to have to lean on Miradors. It's going to be part of our strategy. I often love light mortars, can be an answer, but not yet without the unlocks, right? And would love the supply. So we're going to take the HP in the Mirador. And we also, I mean, another answer to win this is to get our HP high. If we could get this, you know, to 5, 6, 10 grand, that's a path to maybe get this done as well. So that jumps from 2,200 to 2,700. And again, it's going to get bigger as we place down buildings. So I think we're still relatively safe, but the HP is a bit precious because we don't have any repair yet, like unless we can get the right doctrines down. So let's do a Warwolf. Any of these look fine. And actually, I normally like to do it next to the HQ because you can do Warden Protocol, which synergizes with that. But we aren't going to be able to take advantage of that. So we could place this freely. Which lane do we want to make sure we cover off? That's probably among the best. It's got really good coverage. The only gap is right here. Although we want it on height 0, I think. So we've only got 2 upgrade options. The heavy shells are nice, 75% damage plus 1 range. We don't need the range. Like, yes, it would go out a little further this way, but that's okay. It's going to have lots of time on target right here. The better option is probably early access or easy access, not only for our budget, our economy, it's a lot cheaper, but it synergizes at height 0. You get rate of fire and reload speed. And honestly, I think I like the idea of just firing more frequently is probably more beneficial to us than hitting harder. So this probably does about the same. You know, that's going to be fine. I want to make sure that it does get to basically the HQ. There's a couple small gaps, but it's going to always be able to select targets. It's not like it's going to have downtime. So that's fine. And our HP takes a little jump there. Yeah, this is a big difference maker. You see how much splash damage it's doing? It's still a lot of enemies. You know, we need to not sleep on this. The infantry doing a great job. It's interesting the challenges that we're facing, right? Like, I kind of anticipated like it's going to be an interesting experience to start fresh, but I'm impressed so far. This reroll can be interesting, but we're not, especially playing as like the green team, you get a lot of recon production, and so this could start to really pay off, but this isn't going to come into play for us. Same with the scout hideout, we're going to have trouble. So I think this is going to be the answer. I love an Imperial barracks, really versatile, and then the light mortars do have potential. We can put at least, I don't know if we do learning machines on them, probably, because, you know, over the course of 10 waves, we've got like 15 left, but say 10 waves, that's 50% damage boost. It's not insignificant. So, and they do a bit of splash, so they just consistently help weaken out enemies. Plus the HP boost. They're only 100 to put down, and it just keeps, you know, pumping up our HP. So we've got another blank piece, which is terrible. I'm surprised we've seen 2 of them so far. We only had 1 reroll, so we got to make use of this cross. Not sure how significant any of this is going to be. 2 thoughts here. So we've got a good strip right here. A single platform could mean something like a claymore is possible. We may be able to get like an Imperial barracks. You know, this would go pretty hard if we, you know, it could also do something like whatever, something potentially like that. You know, at level 1 it would cover off this corner really well, so that's possible. We got a neutral building. Adjacent buildings gain 50% damage against shield and air. So something like the Puma, if we get our economy in better shape, could go here, get the extra damage against air. Could also get, if we had another Durandal position, you know, damage against, but we're not facing shield enemies. There will be one next round. So we've got the camo units, we've got to remember that. And we did get an extra Mirador. And then we've got the, what, Fagatrope? It's a shielded enemy, can't be slowed. We're okay for now. Let's let wave 9 go, you know, pump up our bank a little bit here, and then we'll start making decisions. The cross is nice that it pushes it out that much further, so you can sort of feel it there where we had the extra time. Gradually comes to the HQ. They're making a difference. I mean, it's the number 1 before the HQ. And a big part of that's the infantry. That counts towards the HQ damage. Okay, we've got to be thinking about the camouflage units coming. None of this helps us with that. And then we've got the shielded units. We've already got a Puma position, a sturdy bunker. doesn't really solve either of those, even though we like the supply. We've got a Durandal position down, and the recon, this makes sure that we've got at least one more reroll so we can continue to shape the map properly, kind of the way we want. Now, we also do have this detection spot I kind of forgot about. So if we can get the right buildings on there, that'll alleviate some of the pressure of the camouflage units. But we're going to lean into the Durandal position a little bit. But we haven't popped the upgrade on it yet. I want to make sure that our HP does okay before I compromise it. But we need to be careful here that we don't sleep on this. Going to see the level 3 here. This is a potential for something else, like particularly a bastion. We just don't need that right now. This is the same basically. So we're gonna take this, also a good position. I suppose this does get us a little closer to the HQ down here, but it's fine. We're gonna do that with the detection. I want to make sure these camo units do not hurt us. And I mean, besides the camo, you know, the Miradors are obviously firing on everything, so that's fine. There's a lot of prime positions around here, right? Maybe we don't need that just yet. I think we might actually get these mortars down. You know, I was thinking about back here, but it's such short, piddly range that if we do a bastion, this at level 3 is better for the damage output. So it's unlikely we're going to be using all these islands. So why don't we do this? This should be a pretty consistent kill zone, this lane coming through here. So we don't need the extra range. We'd rather get the consistent extra damage. So 5% every wave. We've got 15 waves to go. So that's, what is that, 75%? It's not bad. Plus we got the HP boost. That's one of the main reasons actually why I'm targeting to get the mortars down. I'm going to hit the other one in a moment too, maybe. So here, it's great coverage. It's right in this corner, get it over there, and also get the machines on it. We survived that wave really nicely. I don't think that threatened us too significantly. A sanctioned attenuator is tempting. You get some of the cost down on some of our different units, but we can't even upgrade stuff, right? Like, I mean, we can get one upgrade on some of these, but the costs are less important for that reason. We already got an efficiency on the Durandal, so that makes this a slightly more valuable. But let's grab this. We just put down 2 light mortars, so they're going to get a bit of extra efficiency. And the sanctioned attenuator, I'm going to show you why we wanted that. A straight piece here, not the best. We would prefer a corner or a T. And we've only got one reroll unless this is a blank. We've seen 3 blanks this round. Oh my goodness. We wanted some of the recon. We need it for the sanctioned attenuator. We need 25 recon to give this an extra range and 50% damage too. But that's fine. We have to do this, and we ended up back at a straight anyway. Okay, well, we're gonna keep heading down this way. We already kind of committed to the light mortar that we want this as, you know, a long lane where they stay on target. We didn't have a choice here, right? But long term, the plan will be to get a corner here, and then a T is fine, or a straight, and then get these back reconnected. And again, pushing out this way. We could also go left kind of naturally with where this is going. It's fine. We don't have economy to do anything right now. I don't think we got the learning machines on these guys. The camo units were fine. You know, not only our Miradors, but the infantry. So we're okay. Again, we can eventually get something on here. Even a sturdy bunker, you know, can do something. Gallagher, other upgrades available. They don't hit real hard, but that's okay. They're building up so far. This section attenuator is going to help make a difference in the HQ. And after that, it might actually be worth it to start investing in the other guns. Okay, Puma and platform, not bad. We're not so much, leaning into the sturdy bunkers to get the efficiency and cost. We keep seeing an advanced mirror door, which of course is great, and we would get the detection on it, so it gives it extra range and damage by being advanced. So that's not bad, but we're going to take the heavy guns. So we go from 3200 max to 3500 max. It's very nice. We still can't get the upgrade on the sanction attenuator, so we're going to sit on that until we've got the recon. We might need the recon to re-roll this up here too, so it could be a little bit. But the Imperial Barracks could... Wow. This might be worth it. I mean, you see the amount of coverage, and the first tier upgrade, which is all we get, is called small guns or mini guns or something like that, and it shreds. It'll be really effective at height 3, and part of our tile, I mean, it is going to come out here on the left in some sort of way, so it even gets a bit of coverage out that way. I think this is a good investment. So whenever you're doing this type of thing, double check your heights, make sure you're not, making a mistake. So 3, 3, 2, that's good, and that makes them all 3. That's a beautiful thing, and it's an expensive upgrade, but that's going to make this thing go pretty hard. Even as it is, it's going to be really effective. And actually, we'll watch the damage on the side and see who's performing how. They're doing really well. I don't think too many of them are getting overly close. Got a good combination of some heavy hitters, some splash, some detection, different stuff. Okay, don't need this. Don't necessarily need this, even though it's got the detection. This is incredible. I mean, the super heavy pulse, it's a tier 3. Too good of an opportunity. Plus, we keep talking about the recon. This gives us a bit of a cushion to reroll if we had to. I'd rather not reroll. There's always a chance we could reroll into a blank. We've already seen 3 of them. This is not great to get this reconnected back up here. This is possible. We just keep this going out further and further. And this type of thing works really well, because even though we've got an opening way down here, what it does is every wave, there's only a certain number of enemies that can spawn. So rather than them be, super concentrated coming down here, they do split a little bit. And so some of them start here, and our guns all in this area can start to take them out before the ones from way up here get down into their kill zone. So this is still really effective at buying us time and making it manageable where none of our guns are getting too overwhelmed. The other reason to do that was to save our recon, not only to not get stuck into a blank, but also for the attenuator. So the reason we want to get this down is, and look at this, is how weird that we get all of the upgrade options for this. Why this one? I think it's because it doesn't have any of the doctrines. Like for any of the other buildings, you have to unlock, I guess, each, I don't know exactly how it works, but level 1 here, targeted building, +1 range, and plus 50% damage. That's meaningful for our HQ. So it pushes this out a little bit, and the most important role that the HQ is going to serve is anti-air. So they'll get by here somewhat, and things like the mirror doors with the little single shots, they'll have trouble keeping up. And both the Warwolf and Durandal are not built for that. It would be more like a Puma position, but we've got all the Vetsilors on these things, and it can hold its own, defending against the little air units, but the range makes a big difference. So this is worth getting into play, and again, bumps up the HP, doesn't hurt. Now, the extra, like the additional upgrades that we actually do have access to, you've got a slow arc. It's a pretty big range that we can do, and then also a detection arc. So this is interesting. I normally do slow because slow is so powerful, but we're facing detection, and we have so few answers for it. It's just Miradors is the only thing that we have that can even target them. So this is good to know. It's a bit of a safety net. It's an expensive upgrade, so not sure if we'll get there, but happy to see that. And then the final upgrade, I tend not to do it. It's interesting. There's another avenue for detection, but we're likely not taking advantage of this. The other thing to know about the sanctioned attenuator, you might have seen this, but the targeted building type blueprint and building doctrines can't appear in rewards. So you have to be a little bit careful that you're not throwing that on some of your star buildings. Like if you're crushing it with Durandals, you don't want to put it on there so you can't get any doctrines for it. But that's why the HQ tends to be one of the best candidates, not only for, you know, the impact that this first upgrade that's cheap has, but you can't get blueprints for your HQ. Like it doesn't affect stuff like heavy guns and, you know, at least I don't think so. I shouldn't say that so confidently. I use this thing all the time, and I guess I don't know exactly. So, you know, one of the differences being like, if you put this on a Durandal, you can't even get the blueprint anymore. Targeted building types blueprint and building doctrines can't appear in rewards. So, you know, you would get no more Durandals. Well, with the HQ, it's not like you can get a new HQ in the rewards, right? So that's not a negative effect. Now, the doctrines, though, I guess I haven't thought hard enough about whether, let's watch for the rest of the round, whether we notice any, you know, increase to HP, increase to damage. I would think we're going to see those, but if we don't, we need to remember that in the future with the attenuator. Anyway, sorry about that. Let's keep going here. We got another neutral building. All buildings deal plus 10% against air units. That's good to know. We haven't gotten a threat reveal yet. We're still a long way off from tier 2 units. Most things around here are upgraded. We can get it on the Warwolf and the Durandal, actually, and then also the Sturdy Bunker. We're going to look forward to getting the gun rolls on. Yeah, things are going really smoothly. The only thing even making it through here was the camo guys. We could afford to maybe get one more Mirador down, but it's not a big deal. I don't expect we're going to have enough recon to get the scout hideout in play. I'm going to go this route. The light mortars are nice for the HP bump, if we get them in play. And then also we've got one efficiency level on the Durandal. This should show here, yeah, plus 10% to those stats. So we'll take one of those. Not sure if we'll get the super heavy pulse in play, you know, this early on our very first run. It's a lot of supply, and we haven't found any ways to get our economy strengthened, which is weird. That's, you know, I feel like most games I've played, it's, you know, plus 300, plus 400. Normally focus on that, but we have limited options right now, which is fun. Again, quite smooth. We don't feel too threatened yet. And I'm glad we're not eating into our HP. We have no way to recover it just yet. I guess we will take a Mirador. No, I think we want the supply. It's valuable enough. I'm not threatened too much by the detection, plus we have one Mirador in the bank. This is a great tile. We don't have to re-roll. Put this here. Get it connected up, just continually push everything away from the HQ. So we did get a mortar already on that spot. We could do another one coming back this way. That's because I don't know what else would go in this corner back here, even though it's a big elevated platform. It's a nice spot, but there's not a lot of buildings that are going to be way out here that benefit. So a mortar is maybe a good candidate. We'll do it there so that it can hit right starting in the corner as well as right across the intersection there. We want the extra damage. I mean, range is nice, but we want it to hit harder. And we still have 10 waves to go, so it, you know, has time to get better. We could do an upgrade here. Why don't we do, you know, so if we look on the side, the HQ is still performing the best. And even though the guns aren't firing, I mean, nothing's getting in this deep, except maybe camo units it can't even fire on, but it's the infantry. So playing into Commissar Amnesia's strengths, we've got now 19 Grenadiers coming out. So it's the top performer on infantry alone. It's good to know, right? But second best is that Sturdy Bunker, and part of it is it's just has the first opportunities to fire. So let's get the gun holes on it, and let's watch this thing. It can't target the camo units, but it should still be running. Any of the air units trying to come through here, they just disappear. But what's good is, you know, you want to make sure you're eliminating all of the other enemies so that the weirdos don't get distracted. You know, if they're not firing around tiny little air units and stuff, you need them to focus on the camouflage units. So it's useful to make sure you eliminate everything as fast as possible further up. Reduced cost, not high impact, again, because we can't upgrade too deep on any of these. The recon production would be clutch. We keep talking about we don't have any. We're barely at the point where we get one reroll each time. But we have one Warwolf, so we meet the conditions for simple stock. It's going to be the way to go. So now we're at plus 18. I'd like to get some more mortars down. Again, bumping up the HP, plus it's just damage, right? Like, consistently, so let's do that. Learning machines, we still have time to make that worth it. And we might even do this, because we know... I don't think we're going to end up with bastions. You know, saving these kind of spots, it's not really looking like we're going to be going that route. So why not take advantage of this? And the other reason is you're not going to generally put something, you know, a lot of the other traditional buildings out on a corner like that. So why not do this? We are planning ahead, anticipating. We're putting the learning machine on. We got the HP boost. Let's do that. We should be still fine. There's going to be, you know, whenever we still check the 20, we're going to get a new enemy. There's a bit of a and then wait 25. Kind of rough. Went very well. I'm liking the recon. Do we have... We've already got a Durandal. I don't know how many more spots we've got for light mortars to even put down. And we can't upgrade the light mortars anymore, so the cost doesn't help us. Let's get some frontline trenches, and of course the recon. The trenches are super cheap, so that's appealing. Normally the upgrade path, like, they're super good because you can get them to the point where they slow enemies. It's one of the, you know, the most valuable parts about them. But you need a lot of recon to get to that point. But we're, you know, we're just not in that position. We only get a single upgrade on it, so this is fun. We can make use of these though. We got a T. Wonder if this mortar can hit up there. I'd rather not re-roll. We can make use of the recon elsewhere. How much do we trust this that we're going to be able to get a straight piece? Otherwise, this might be tolerable. I think we're going to trust it. We're going to be careful with our recon so that we've got maybe a couple re-rolls that we can do when necessary to fill this in. We're going to see a good number of tiles yet before this run is through. The frontline trenches have to be at height 0. It's a good spot. They have a really short range. And you can upgrade them with either standard or recon. So 3 weapons plus 10 infantry HP. Plus 3 weapons plus 1 range. We don't need the range. It's hitting fine. Each of them get 3 weapons, but let's take the infantry HP. Because we've got 21 of those guys coming out now. We can give it 1 more bump even. Now, the other thing we can do, we haven't taken advantage of this yet, and you know, putting a lot of other buildings down at height 0 is not appealing. You have to find the right fits for that, but this is actually a good candidate, and we will want the range on this one because it's not really getting out there, but this is a good selection. It already gets 1 range, I forgot, from this neutral building. So 1 additional range doesn't help a ton. It will a little bit, but let's do that. I don't necessarily need to get another one on infantry. They're doing just fine. So let's get some more range. I expect this thing will significantly help against the camo units. Let's send it. got a lot of damage on camo right there. Durandal efficiency 2. So there's a chance that we could get to efficiency 3 and already get expertise on Durandal. So let's do that. And then I guess we should try to get our other one in play maybe to really maximize, you know, the benefit of that. This is excellent coverage. Coming straight out of here, start hitting them all the way down this lane. And then by the time they get here out of range, we've got so many other guns to take them. Now, we should maybe take advantage of this neutral building. It is plus 50% damage on shields. Yeah, let's do that. We want to get it active. It's a big boost to this guy, and we have no other answer for shields. I mean, even though we're doing okay, we have no shield breakers, like stuff, pulse cannons and stuff. So let's do this. For this particular guy, I will opt maybe for the long barrels because I want him to be able to hit the shields as much as possible. Oh, and also, I guess, the bonus from the neutral building, I forgot. So we're going to do that. He's got massive web now, even at height 2. And this one back here, so I'm going to send this wave, but this guy back here, I mean, we're not even relying on him. I don't think he's hard to hit or anything, but we would do exposed elements. We're at the point now, we've got a good job getting our HP up, now 4,700. Even without, you know, many doctrines. Now, we have not seen a new doctrine for the HQ since we put this down, so that's really interesting to continue to keep in mind. I don't think these blueprints really move the needle for us. We're not going to be doing a pit on this particular run, probably. I mean, a sanction cannon, we're going to grab it. I don't think we'll afford it at 1,500, but who knows? We're going to get more tiles yet. We're not in any danger down here. We're not under threat. Let's hold on to our recon. We could re-roll for the straight, but we're going to do this because we'll want to do that anyway to get this reconnected with either a T or a cross is fine. So let's do that. See if we can get another mortar down. I mean, he's already hitting. So how are these things performing? He's doing almost 1,000 damage, which is actually pretty good. You'll see the ones back here. He's doing 800. This is doing, oh, he did 400, even though he's got almost nothing to shoot at. Now, who's our top performers? That's more interesting, maybe. So this guy that we just placed down, who's got the buff against shields, HQ still doing amazing, strictly because of infantry. The Imperial Barracks doing really well. We did put the gun holes on that. And the frontline trench, he's got a lot of targets. He's up towards the top here, but over 1,000. In this type of game where we can't upgrade anything at all, none of this is going to go super crazy, like, 30,000, 50,000, that type of thing. So we have to keep all that in mind as we're sort of assessing performance, benefit, being invested, that kind of thing. So they did feel like it was a little highly concentrated, it was a little heavier, it seemed like, but we did okay. Nothing got too much past rip out right here. Costs, again, just not as appealing since we can't heavily upgrade things, but here is the Durandal position efficiency 3. This is kind of cool to get this early on round 1. So I think at the end of this whole run, we'll see all the things that we unlocked, and I think that we might get Durandal expertise, like a new unique doctrine because of that, but let's see. Actually, the Imperial Barracks outperformed even the Durandal on that last one. It was good. So new enemies coming. These are both pretty scary. So the Mucos is a big fat slug. Requires a lot of splash damage. Generally is the best way to deal with them. And then the Sanatrope comes like a shooting star down from the sky, can fall anywhere. So he'll drop in like right down here even, and pretty scary. High HP. Durandal is one of the best ways to deal with them. And we've got efficiency 3 now. So those Sanatropes can be a problem, and because they'll drop somewhere down here even, before this was barely on target. I mean, it did almost 2,000, but it's gonna be maybe what saves us now at this point. Like, we're gonna rely heavily on this. So We can afford the HP. We're going to do exposed elements. Now it's going to hit almost twice as hard. It's going to be really good. We've got a lot of supply, 1200. Can't quite get the super heavy down. Getting the super heavy down might secure this run for us, but I'm not sure if we're going to get to that point. There's a few other key upgrades, like the Warwolf. Now we put it at height 0 in order to get the double effect with easy access. Let's get that done. So now that we know what we're facing, stuff like the Mirador, Puma, bunkers, they're just not the answer. Bunkers can be with the Reaper cannon, but that is at the upgrade tier 2, and we can't do that yet. So none of these are necessarily going to get it done for us. We, more guns of anything is good. I suppose don't do anti-air, we're going to do general purpose. We'll get a little higher damage on it. It can deal with, we're going down the late and it's already above 1500. So that's a decent answer. The Warwolf is going to be good against the Mucos, those slug units. Even though our recon's growing, we're not at the point we can do a scout hideout. This is a good choice, but we kind of need blueprints. We just went through talking about not really having the best answers for any of these enemies. I think we're at the point where we want to close this off. It's a little risky enough. We're going to do a few rolls. Now, okay, something interesting here is we could close this. And if we teed this off, some of the enemies would literally go vertical. Instead of coming straight down here, they would go all the way up and around. Now, it's a little bit of a risky play. I'm fairly confident about some of that dynamic, but I don't know, whether they would come around here or some might go all the way up. Well, I'll tell you what, we're going to re-roll a little bit more, and if we roll a couple and we're still stuck and we get a corner, then we're going to try this. We want a straight. Okay, there it is. It's meant to be. We're going to try this. We've got another neutral building, 50% upgrade cost, minus 50% for adjacent. Given the fact that we did that, part of what we want to do is make sure that we've got a kill zone up here. So stuff, even when we put a T here, they're not all just gonna immediately come down this way. Like, some will travel up. I'm pretty confident. We're gonna see whether that's right or not. But we want to make sure that we've got stuff to soften it up here. Now, let's just wait and see. I think we survived okay. And we can make those decisions in a little bit. We upgraded a couple things, so it should be a little bit better. So they're all units already going all the way up and around, right? But I was looking at a time where we don't have to worry about them yet. We can focus the guns on these bigger units. Durandal, concentrating, doing okay. That's fine. And then finally, this guy, is making his way down. So it looks like this will serve us well, I think, for now. This plus 100% supply production. Each wave, HQ suffers 850 damage. It's a really good doctrine as long as you've got hype type repair. And we have none. So can't afford to do this in this particular run. We need the Durandal, probably. It's the best answer for the Sanatropes, and also even for the Mucos. Just, high damage, high HP. I don't think we need the shield buff again. We just, this is fine. We want time on target, and it's not that the enemies are making it to our HQ, so we're not even taking the damage yet. That's fine. So we don't mind, this, where it's going to drop pretty heavy, but I think it's still worth it. It hits 75% harder. We need the damage output. We don't have any other real answers for it. It's a lot of small guns, and we can't upgrade things a lot. Plus we're picking up fuel efficiency, so this is by far, you know, our most powerful option right now. We do want a war wolf. We do want another one. There's going to be... It's a pack team, so each access is not the answer. We're going to do heavy shells, give it 75% additional damage. That went really well. Nothing really got past our strong zone here. Another sanction attenuator. I think I learned my lesson with that. I can't believe how many rounds I've played, and I love this thing. And meanwhile, I'm cutting off the options for our HQ. So, you know, late in a game, I suppose this is a good answer because you should have basically done, you know, most of your key upgrades to it by then. But early in a game, you don't want to cut yourself off like that. So that might have been a lesson learned, which is kind of crazy to say. But yeah, we want this fly, I think. We can get the heavy pulse down. There's a T. That's quite fortunate. So we're going to do that. We're now bottlenecking. You know, everything has to come out of this single entry point, and a bunch of it's going to even peel off this way. That's great. We want the pulse cannon, and look at this. It's amazing. That looks good. You know, for anything coming up this way, we want to make sure it has a chance, but it also, you know, it's got lots of room to hit stuff down here. It's a great spot. And this targets most HP. So the Sanatropes probably especially. Actually, which one has more? It doesn't even tell us. We don't have that info yet. Eventually, this will tell us, you know, more details about them, but not yet. This is a great light mortar spot, but it's kind of a good spot for everything. I wonder if we maybe do this because we can stack them together. Because again, we don't have great buildings, right? But we may as well get these hammering on them. So we're going to put one more beside it. I mean, we can get a third one. That'll actually start making this really effective. There's a lot of enemies coming up around the top. Glad we're correct about that. Let's put another bunker down here. And we want to put a short range bunker down. They've stopped coming out of here, so we'll go back. Make sure this goes smooth. It all looks good. We may actually survive this. Although, I mean, wave 45 is going to be it's a real skill check. Okay, Warwolf is again, well, the sturdy bunker we just talked about. Let's lean into that kill zone right here. So got a fair bit of supply. We are on wave 24. So here, now this middle one in particular with the short range comlink is going to get plus 100% damage and rate of fire. It's really good, and it's going to hit every single thing that comes out of there. So let's try that. And I wonder, do we want to up? Yeah, I mean, the upgrade's only 125, so they each get 50% damage and rate of fire. And we want the damage as opposed to just the rate of fire and the reload speed, because we're facing a lot of higher HP enemies. What's our performance like? So look at this. This changes the game, right? We wondered if we were going to get this out. And by the way, why do we have all the upgrade paths for all of them? You know, none of these other buildings finish an expedition with this building to unlock more upgrades. But there's a few of them, including the pulse cannon here. Why do we have all of them? It's weird. But anyway, we'll continue to sort of figure out how this is all going to play. We would do very well to get solid frame on here, the rate of fire, but I wanted to point out how far and above it's the best performer. Like, none of these other guns have really high damage. They're versatile, they have different ways of being used well, but nothing hits like this, and it kinda just secured maybe our first victory. It's a tier 3 building, which tells you at a glance that it's really valuable, and it's showing that. Again, the HQ doing really well. That is strictly infantry. We're now producing 28 of them. And then the Durandals, we've got level 3 efficiency on those guys, and 2nd and 4th place. Now there's one more Durandal, I think. No, yeah, what is this one did 0 because nothing made it that far. That's crazy. I mean, it's a great problem to have. But let's run it. We got one more wave kind of chill. We don't get very far. This is our path. It's the most HPs and centers just protection options, including our frontline trench here. So those detection guys are just unvaluable. You know, I guess why not? We can put another, let's get a mirror door down. We can end up using this spot. We'll put detection on that. Just make sure we're safe for this final wave in case there's a kind of a surge of camo units. The cost here is not going to, well, we do have a lot of recon or supply points. What do we got here? Sturdy bunker. How did our bunkers do? How did this guy do? He only did 1400, and he's the one with the best buff of having 2 of them besides. So we're not, you know, it's not wise maybe to invest in that right now. The Durandal is the way to go, maybe. It's one more big gun. Now, we've got, so final wave, you know, who knows what's in store there. Okay, we got to place this down. Our map layout turned out to be really unique. I'm happy with it because it's a good mix of, some of them are coming straight down here, which is fine. We've got enough to take care of that, but then a bunch of them are going up here in both directions, just buying us time until we have to deal with them. Now, we did talk about, you know, you should have guns up here so that you could start softening them up. But we're doing okay despite that. We actually have enough for the sanction cannon, but nowhere to place it. You know, it could be there, but that's useless. That's fine. This isn't the run where we're going to make that work. There's not even really great elevation positions up here. You know, if I was going to pop a Puma or something like that, but it's not great. You could put a Durandal, but I think a better call is here. Just make it, you know, a heavy kill zone through this this cross here, which is kind of currently what's happening. But I don't mind giving it the extra buff of the shield. I think this one, that's not even quite the top performer. We gave it the range though, and that's partly why. You know, the other one's performing even better because it got the damage bonus. So let's try that here, maybe. It doesn't even really need the range because there's going to be constantly enemies running through here, so it can shoot at stuff. We're gonna give it the damage. We want it to hit hard. We're gonna the HP, we're not relying on this thing taking a lot of hits, so maybe I'm rethinking that. I don't want to give up the HP, and the heavy pulse cannon is serving the role of the heavy hitter. Sure, let's do the long barrel. That's fine. And I wonder if we can shore up a few extra guns, because I don't know how heavy this is going to be, but it is a skill check. I mean, 25 is significantly heavier, so I don't want to sleep on and just kind of hit go. But what other opportunities do we have? At the very least, the Puma, it's not bad. Not great. The Imperial Barracks would be good. Like, it's doing okay, 3,000. But none of this is great. I wonder, can we could get shared. Oh, we've got tech. And we haven't been able to spend tech because nothing can get upgraded. So, oh my goodness, this is broken. So, you do shared energy and underground plant. 75% damage, +1 target per impact. Oh my goodness. That's so funny. Like, because the Durandal, you know, Flarium shells is 2 tech, that's tier 2. Same with the Warwolf, cybernetic loader is tech, and that's tier 2. So I kind of forgot about it because we can't even upgrade stuff, but this just happens to let us do the whole tree, and now it's game over. That's gonna be plenty. I wonder if we're gonna get hit with a lot of air units. That's possible. So let's get a mortar down on this. 10% damage against air units. We'll just do a cheapy mortar. to give us that 10% buff. It also gives us an HP boost, and then maybe a you know, for the air somewhere in the pathway here. Yeah, I think this is fine, because if air units come out, they have to come from here, so it can take care of some small stuff. Let's go. Final test. So there's some new units, like the green guys, a lot of shields, and there's one area that's going through this channel. It should be okay. Yeah, our HQ on its own. So everything's going to be done. This goes on. Pretty happy with everyone does having free efficiency. Just getting 36,000, which I told you guys that that's going to be a good work. And that's, I think it's the only reason we did it. We did like the pulse can up, the big dicey, and I mean, it was for the win, I guess, right? It's a good thing those guys came out. That was maybe closer than I thought it was going to be. But we did it. That's a great start. Very first run. So, yeah, here we go. New difficulty, level 2. This is a great doctrine, plus 50% supply amounts offering reinforcements. And that was for winning with Commissar Amnesia. Reach wave 5. Gain 400 supply first batch. Excellent. Acquire an efficiency 3 for this blueprint during a game. Durandal position expertise, so +1 max target and 10% explosion size. Very good. Finish an expedition with this building to unlock more upgrades. So advanced upgrades, 30, Durandal, Warwolf, Puma, Light Mortar, Imperial Barracks, Officer Quarters. We got a new commander or hero. Win one expedition at difficulty level 1. Build 30 buildings. We got another one. Solid. That was a lot of unlocks, which I presume we're going to get for a while, just a lot of things kind of cracking off, but that went really well. And this is, in a way, not a surprise. The Durandal, we got the level 3 efficiency, already got the expertise unlocked, had 4 of them out, had them on the neutral building for the extra shield damage. These things did a great job. Obviously, a big part of the answer why we got it done. But in a way, I'm surprised the pulse cannon didn't win, but we got it out late. It was only, several rounds maybe that it was out there, but it was good. Let's take a look. So level 2 is now unlocked. We are probably going to default to that going forward. Like, even while we're unlocking things and we don't have a lot of tools in the tool belt yet with our codex, it's at 16%. Obviously we got a bunch of stuff discovered and unlocked. The game is going to be more difficult until we get access to so many of these other good doctrines, right? But I think regardless, we're not going to hold back. We're not going to play on level 1 difficulty any of the time. We're going to play on 2, then 3, then 4, and we're going to be constantly playing on 4 as we work through and unlock these, and again sort of test our win rate. But really happy with that start. Appreciate you guys joining in, and I think this is going to be a fun series. We'll see you in the next one.